to introduce Nir Yacobi from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, and he is Chief Financial Officer and Chief Economist and Economic Consultant in several companies and organizations. Dissertation about tax, in which the progressivity is achieved by a UBI loans. Economics lead in Gold Dollar, a 100% non-profit project, where they examine the implementation of a global UBI over blockchain in an open source cryptocurrency. So that sounds very interesting. I would like to give you the word.
Well, after such an opening, I don't know if I have what to add, but I can thank you for inviting me. I thought I will come to speak, and I will speak about UBI, global UBI, and cryptocurrencies, and the technology of blockchain. But first, as Enno mentioned, my PhD dissertation was about VAT, and I want to correct the impression that was made in the former panel when someone said that VAT is a bad tax, and that hurt me personally because I really work a long time of my life on VAT. And the way I came across UBI was through I was looking for the optimal tax system, and I found that VAT is the most efficient tax that exists, and that should finance most of the state's spending. Besides other taxes, corrective taxes like carbon taxes, and are also efficient, and land value taxes. And it's not only UBI. I see independence of the way it should finance all public spending, including UBI. So VAT taxes consumption, which is one of the problems that was mentioned in the former panel, instead of income, which is the effort of people to produce and to invest and to innovate, and they get fined when they get income for that. The other way around is to fine people what they take from the economy, and that's what consumption tax are doing. And anyway, but when you talk about VAT, the problem is its progressivity. It's really not progressive. So I found that UBI, together with VAT, is the optimal tax system, because in one way you raise funds for public spending in the most efficient way, and you also mitigate inequality and poverty also in the most efficient way by UBI. So that's what about the VAT. Now about the cryptocurrency. We are in good dollars are trying to cope with the global inequality, rather the in-country inequality that most of the classic UBI refers to. UBI in the state level, and there was also in the former panel one that said try to solve also the problem of global inequality with the UN and with government cooperation. It's a good idea and it might work, but the trend now in the world is the opposite. More nationalism, less globalization. I don't see Trump voters pay tax to give UBI to poor Nigerians or Malawi or Egyptian. I don't see that happening in the next few years. The trend is the opposite. So we think about a way to make UBI independently of government. But for this, we have three problems. One that I call U, B, and I. The U problem is how to make it universal. If we are not government, we don't know, we don't have a list of people, where they live and who are they, and if they are real, if they are unique. So the first problem we have is how to identify the people that are registered to the system, that they are real and unique. This is the first problem. The second problem, I call the B problem, is basic. When we talk about global basic income, what is basic need? Well, $2 can save life in Africa, but after being 3 days in Oslo, it buys nothing in Oslo. Okay, so what is the basic needs in Norway or in other countries? This is a problem. And the third problem, I called I, the income, it's the income of the system. How can we finance if we have a system that is not compulsory and we can't force people to pay tax in order to give it? So these three problems avoid people from, or avoid us from using a global ungovernmental UBI. But we think that now there's a new technology in the last 10 years, blockchain and smart contracts, that might be the beginning of the solution. And that's where we are trying to experiment in the good dollar, and it's actually a series of experiments to try and solve this problem through cryptocurrency. To make a new cryptocurrency, if someone doesn't know what cryptocurrency, we have a session in afterwards. We might explain it in a nutshell, but it's cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, something, currencies that are not made by government or by central bank or by banks, made by the people, for the people. So as you know, for example, in Bitcoin, new coins are minted and go to the person who minted them, and that makes him richer. In our system, the system will mint the coins according to an algorithm, depending on time and users, and will go straight in an equal way to all users. And also the problem of identification is now being solved with a lot of startups around the world, how to have a valid identification over the blockchain. And the value, how this currency will get value, there is a lot of, it's a little short here to explain, but for example, all the projects that were mentioned earlier, clean water, renewable electricity, people can, or donators can open these facilities and get people to pay with a good dollar that they got free from the blockchain, from good dollar. They got free currency, and while they start to pay for clean water or for electricity, then these coins will have value, and also other commercial companies can sell with good dollar. And as long as more people will have it, and it will be a very big tool or a mean of payment, then it will gain its value and will have a real value. And if they talk about $10 a month, I think it can be done.